'Cause I got you like you got me. When the earth shakes, when the bombs scream, until our last breath, every heartbeat. When your nightmares turn to real life and the ground's filled up with landmines, we will face it standing side by side. You know I'll come running when you need. I'm coming. You know I'll come running. You go to war, then I'm going with you. Pick up my sword, yeah, there's nothing I won't do. When you sound the alarm and the chaos is rising, leading the charge, yeah, I'm coming, I'm fighting. Swear on the breath that I breathe, I'll never retreat, yeah, I'll be your army. If you go to war, then I'm going with you. Pick up my sword, yeah, there's nothing I won't do. When you sound the alarms and the chaos is rising, leading the charge, I'm coming, I'm fighting. Swear on the breath that I breathe, I'll never retreat, yeah, I'll be your army. Seeing monsters at your window. No, you can't sleep, you pretend though. You don't have to play the hero. 'Cause I got you like you got me. When the earth shakes, when the bombs scream, until our last breath, every heartbeat. You know I'll come running. You go to war, then I'm going with you. Pick up my sword, yeah, there's nothing I won't do. When you sound the alarm and the chaos is rising, leading the charge, yeah, I'm coming, I'm fighting. Swear on the breath that I breathe, I'll never retreat, yeah, I'll be your army. When your nightmares turn to real life and the ground's filled up with landmines, we will face it standing side by side. You know I'll come running When you sound the alarms and the chaos is rising, leading the charge, I am coming, I'm fighting. Swear on the breath that I breathe, I'll never retreat, I'll be your army. Seeing monsters at your window, no you can't sleep, you pretend though, you don't have to play the hero. Cause I got you like you got me. When the earth shakes, when the bombs scream, until our last breath, every heartbeat. You know I'll come running. If you go to war, then I'm going with you. Pick up my sword, yeah, there's nothing I won't do. When you sound the alarm and the chaos is rising, leading the charge, yeah, I'm coming, I'm fighting. Swear on the breath that I breathe, I'll never retreat, yeah, I'll be your army. When your nightmares turn to real life and the ground's filled up with landmines, we will face it standing side by side.
Good evening everyone and welcome to TTML Division 1. We are here for round 6 of the championship as we take in the Austrian Grand Prix from Spielberg in Austria around the Red Bull Ring. Good evening everyone, I'm James here, going to be taking you through the stream as lead commentator here tonight. As you can guess, Kieran McGinley not alongside me in the commentary box, but a super substitute has came in the meantime. It is a massive good evening to Luke Etheridge. Luke, how you doing?
I'm very well, thanks. Good evening, James. Good evening, everyone that is watching. Hopefully, we'll be able to provide a cracking race for you tonight around the Red Bull Ring. Probably the most simplest race track on the calendar, but probably one of the most entertaining as well.
Yeah, it is going to be one of those tracks, I think, that promotes a lot of overtaking and certainly should produce a very close qualifying here as well. If you are unfamiliar, there's 18 minutes worth of qualifying, 50% race as per usual. Let's have a run through the standings then, and it is Perpetuum who leads the way on 92 points, with Medium Pilot in second on 86, Carlsberg and Josh tied in third on 79 points, with F1 Dobby in fifth on 61, Recon in sixth on 54, with Legend in seventh on 34, Nathan in eighth on 33, and a tie for ninth between Yaram and Killer Blue on 32 points. The bottom half of the field, MCL Venom in 11th on 29, with Carlsbury in 12th on 28, Darkbolt in 13th on 27, with Navy in 14th on 17, Siege in 15th on 13, with Bianchi in 16th on 12, Kagino in 17th on 8, and Takeepa, the only other point scorer, on 7 points in 18th position. Spreen and Jack haven't scored any points just yet. Hopefully they'll be able to better that soon. We'll run through the constructor standings as well in a brand new format, but what I do have to give you guys is an advertisement. We are looking for more commentators here, of course, on League Racing TV, and this is for Saturdays and Sundays for the Radicals and the Touring Cars on the Saturday and for the Indy Cars on the Sunday. And this is on Project Cars 2, of course, for CRC, where I used to commentate, of course, for the last 2 seasons. So if you want to fill in my footsteps and be a commentator, and you're inspired by myself and Luke here tonight as well, do tune in. You can at TTML, or you can at CRC on Twitter, at Competitive Racing Club, if you do want to get in touch about the commentator vacancies that are available. And why wouldn't you, Luke? Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, it's good fun. I've definitely enjoyed it for the past couple of years I've been doing it, and it's definitely handy for those of us who enjoy racing games but aren't any good at racing games. So yeah, I'll stick to the commentating. I think anyone who's seen me drive recently will know that I'm not the greatest at it, but I have fun. That's all that matters. I enjoy commentating. If you think you're unsure, so was I. Just dive in the deep end and give it a go, and who knows, maybe you'll be doing TTML F1 one day. Who knows where the future could lead?
Yeah, who knows where the future could lead indeed. We are a couple of minutes late in getting off. Spreen has just joined the lobby. I think we are waiting for a couple of drivers that possibly might be running late. But it is fantastic, of course, to have Luke alongside me in the comment box tonight. And I'm sure we will get to see a lot of great action out on track. Good evening to, of course, everyone that is tuning in for TTML. Tom obviously going to be working the graphics in behind the scenes as well, and hopefully we'll get to provide you a very good stream here tonight. Let's just hope my connection lasts.
Yeah, well, I think, James, it might be better off, unless you fancy driving tonight, going to spectate mode.
Oh, I need to... Oh, thank you for pointing that out. Goodness me, I'm miles away, honestly. I thought I entered spectate mode, but I think I didn't, because I invited you into the party and into the lobby. That makes sense.
First, why not we'll get a special view of all the track, but I think now the drivers are beginning to get ready. I mean, it'd been a nice view of the track. You'd be able to get a different view around, maybe talk yourself over a hot lap, but I said I'm no good at driving and talking at the same time. I'm definitely no good at.
Yeah, definitely not. And I think, honestly, the last time I think I drove was a one-off appearance within League 1, where I mistakenly went not onto spectate mode, and my AI was driving around for the full 36 laps around Brazil. So that wasn't too bad. And yes, before you ask, I didn't score any points as an AI, even though I was in the commentary box. Very strange game it was on F1 2019. But the 30-second countdown has started. Luke, any final thoughts tonight? Who do you see getting pole?
Well, every time I've commentated on Josh around this circuit, he has done an absolutely fantastic job. So, to be honest, it wouldn't surprise me if he does the same again. And I think he wants to get a bit of momentum back in his championship, because really, Perpetual Mobile has just sort of sprinted away in the last 2 races, winning the last 2, only multiple winner so far this season. So I think Josh might have something to say about that tonight.
Yeah, I think Josh has got a good chance as well. Obviously, we are going to go into qualifying in just a second. Good luck to all of the drivers that is going to be taking us through here. All, I think, 16 or 17 that we've got here tonight. But without further ado, let's get into qualifying. Well, good evening everyone, and welcome to TTML Division 1. We are here for Season 1 for Round 6 around here at the Austrian Grand Prix in Spielberg. A legendary track that really fabled a lot of overtaking My name is James Head. Luke Etheridge alongside me in the commentary box, of course, will give Luke the big analysis going into qualifying as well. But let's have a look at the track in question. 4.3 kilometres in length, 10 turns of width, drivers out on track with 3 DRS zones, one up the start finish straight, one up towards turn 3 and one down the hill into the heavy braking zone of turn 4. Possible overtaking opportunities, those corners that I've just said, turns 1, 3 and 4, but also around the outside of turn 6. We saw last season in TTL F1 Division 1 that certainly you can get the chips around the outside and you can get the overtake done around the outside of turn number 6. But with that being said, with us going into qualifying, let me have a look then and run you through the drivers' standings once again, as Venom has left the session, but the standing should appear on your screen. There's Perpetuum, who leads on 92 points coming into tonight. Calsper in second on 86 points, Medium Pilot in second on 86 points. Calsper in third, tied with Josh on 79 points. And Luke, looking at the top 4, Perpetuum obviously having the double wins last time out, but can he do it again?
Well, obviously Monaco is a very different circuit to every single one on the calendar. I suppose Canada sort of has some similarities to this with the heavy braking zones. I mean, that's really what the entire first sector is about here. It's just getting good on the brakes all for the first half of the lap. You need that bit of downforce in the second sector, and the final sector is more about just keeping it clean and avoiding any penalties in the final couple of corners. So I wouldn't be too surprised if Perpetuum is back on form, and it actually looks like at the moment he's going for something a bit different and going out on the medium tyres in qualifying, whereas it looks like everyone else is going on the soft. So he's obviously feeling pretty confident with his pace tonight.
Yeah, he is feeling pretty confident, I think, with his pace tonight. Possibly. We will go on board with this lap in just the meantime. I need to get the HUD up, which is not that great. It is Medium Pilot that we're going on board with, and on the run up towards turn 3, let's see what his first sector split is like as we come up into this heavy braking zone. It should be a sub 17, and it's actually a sub 16, a 15.7 through the first sector from Medium Pilot, looking very good as he comes through turn 3. Now opening up that DRS once again, running down towards turn 4. We ride on board, of course, with the Williams man down in towards turn 4. And very heavy on the brakes, pretty much going quite wide of the curb there. Of course, track limit invalidations can happen around this track. Medium Pilot now coming through turn 5 and then in towards turn 6. This left-hander looking very good as he comes through the middle sector now. We'll ride on board for the final sector as well, 43.8 through the middle sector. This is looking like a lightning quick lap so far from Medium Pilot as he now comes under the Fanatec boards, now braking at the 50 metre board, down in towards turn 9, then through turn 10. Very quick lap. That is a lap pretty much of Austria, and Medium Pilot comes across the line, and it's a 102.6. Very good lap time that from Medium Pilot.
Yeah, he's definitely not leaving anything on the table in the early stages. Right out there straight away with a very quick lap time, and pretty clean as well, apart from that slight mistake he made actually heading down turn 4, so that's downhill where you can just see like the 2 on the track map. So I'm surprised he actually managed to get such a good moment. Better Mobile's gone into the pits, so he's not decided to carry on those tyres, but it looks like we've had a few drivers, Dark Bolt and Killer Blue, invalidate as well. So like you said, James, you've got to be careful with track limits around this circuit.
Yeah, Darkbolt probably picking up that track invalidation coming through turn 1. We're on board with him now. I think Killer Blue is just ahead of him out on track, 44th flat through the middle sector in the AlphaTauri. And of course, AlphaTauri have been making a bit of a comeback in recent weeks in real life. Pierre Gasly, of course, leading the charge. The Frenchman are relying on a Brit here tonight as he comes through turn 10 in Killer Blue around the final corner. I think he's going to go 4th possibly with this lap across the line. He does go 4th, 102.997, same lap time as Recon.
Same lap time as Recon, but Killer Blues had to do it on 2-lap-old soft tyres rather than 1-lap-old, so you might be hoping that he improves on that, which you would expect him to do with the track evolution. Darkbolt ended up going back into the pitch. Nathan's just come across the line with a 103.976, but that was invalidated. So Medium Pilot looking very good at the moment, but we'll see what Josh can do. He's also invalidated, so it looks like he's just saving a bit of fuel and ERS, maybe to give it another go on a second run, because as we've seen from Killer Blue, there's definitely still pace, although Josh actually decides to come into the pits.
Yeah, I'm not surprised Josh coming into the pits. He did invalidate on that lap, so he will be going probably in and around the 10-minute mark, you'll see a lap being set from him. Nathan has invalidated as well, coming down towards turn 4. So that is unfortunate for the Dutchman. There are yellow flags coming through the middle sector. Not sure who that might be. I think it might be Killer Blue actually on a down lap. He's actually run out of fuel. So Killer Blue running out of fuel, 102.997. He had enough to set a second lap, but is he going to improve possibly ahead of Recon? And do you expect Recon to improve as well in third?
You'd expect Killer Blue to definitely improve if he could actually change down gear, man. Get over the hill. Didn't your driving instructors ever teach you anything? Because he's struggling to get to the pit lane here. 20. I think he's right. There we go. He's speeded up ever so slightly as he now starts coming downhill. I was a bit worried he wasn't going to make it into the pit lane then. He was slowing down dramatically. Yeah, I'd expect them both to improve, and you do get many chances at this track. A lot of circuits, you only really have chances to get 3 fast laps done in qualifying, or 3 runs at least, as Venom has crashed out coming out of turn 1 by the looks of things.
Yeah, just having a look, see if we can ride on board with somebody. There's nobody coming towards the final corner, which is a shame. But Venom, has he got tail happy possibly out of turn 1 on the outside curb? Because it looks like he's spun on the grass, it looks.
Yeah, it's very possible. He was another driver who had actually gone for the medium tyres, so very possible he's just gone a bit wide over that curb, put the throttle down, and the curbs have nowhere near the traction of the tarmac, so perhaps unsurprising to see him spinning round. And the 2 Mercedes drivers have actually come out on track together, and if you cast your mind back to 2016, you remember what happened that year when there were 2 Mercedes title rivals battling each other around this circuit. Hopefully Josh and Perpetuum will be able to behave better than Rosberg and Hamilton did, but I'm sure a few of their rivals wouldn't mind if they came together tonight.
Yeah, Josh obviously tied for third with Carlsberg. Perpetuum obviously leading the way as well in the championships. It's going to be really interesting to see, as you say. And Mercedes actually are leading the Constructors' Championship as well. They're on 171 points. Ferrari in second on 133. Williams in third on 113 as well. I'm sure those graphics will pop up now on the left-hand side. Haas in fourth on 93. Renault in fifth on 46. Red Bull in sixth on 40. McLaren in 7th on 36, Alfa Romeo 8th on 34, AlphaTauri in 9th on 27, and Racing Point in 10th on 13 points. So that is the Constructors' rundown. Perpetuum is the first of the Mercedes on a lap, so let's ride on board with our current championship leader as he now runs up towards turn 4, 15.7 through the first sector, but he's gone miles wide. He completely overcooked that coming through turn 3, and Perpetuum, sadly, looks like he's not going to be getting a lap out of that, so he could give a little bit of tow to Josh, I wonder.
Yeah, it just looks like it's a bit too far behind. In fact, he might start getting held up in the middle sector by Jarham. I'm sure it's been said plenty enough as Jarham actually moves out of the way as Carlsberg now goes fastest. But Dirty Air does seem to have a bigger effect on this game. Luckily for Perpetuum, it didn't invalidate his lap, so at least he'll get this lap in as a banker, but he'll have definitely lost 2 to 3 tenths at least there. He didn't go as wide as I've seen some drivers do, but it can definitely cost you. So we'll see where the 2 Mercedes go here. Perpetuum just heading across the line now, invalidates at the final corner. Wouldn't have only been good enough for 7th place as Josh goes straight up into 3rd. So still a bit of time to find actually for Josh if he wants to get onto the front row.
Yeah, 2.5 tenths pretty much separating himself and Medium Pilot. So the main championship contenders really coming into the fall. Dogbolt just coming in there as well in the Williams 102.9. Nice lap from him. The Brit, we've got AlphaTauri coming across the line as well. I think that's Killer Blue might be just starting a lap. No, Killer Blue is invalidated coming up towards turn 3. The Keeper is invalidated as well. Just trying to ride on board with who that might have been. It was Bianchi, I think. Bianchi there running up the hill. The Italian, good to see him back. I think he's been missing a couple of weeks, so Bianchi is back here in TTML Division 1. Hopefully he's going to be providing the young blood here tonight within Division 1. But we are halfway through qualifying, and it is Carlsberg who leads. Medium Pilot 2nd, Josh in 3rd, Darkbolt 4th, and Recon in 5th position.
Yeah, it's been a very good qualifying session so far from the Williams boys. Obviously, Medium Pilot setting that time early on, only just being beat by Carlsberg, so this might be a bit of an opportunity for the Williams team to maybe close up that gap ever so slightly. Let's not forget they are currently 58 points behind Mercedes, and they have got Ferrari in between them, so Carlsberg and Recon doing a good job. So still a few drivers yet to set a time, half the session to go. Bianchi, Nathan and Perpetuum Mobile still yet to set a time, as I think Bianchi's actually run out of fuel, but he's now able to get back towards the pits, and I noticed he was on his second lap, or third lap, sorry, on those tyres, and he'd invalidated it. So might be worth some of these guys that are further down the back of the field just thinking about going a bit easier, fueling the car up a bit more, but taking one steady lap just to get a time on the board before going all out for a second lap, because you don't want to be at the back of the grid here. There's plenty of DRS zones, but it's very easy to get stuck in a DRS train because of that.
Yeah, you are going to get washed up as well in that DRS trend. The further you are down the field, I think the more inclined you might try and make the overtakes, but the more risk will come with the reward. So the drivers have just got to be wary with that. Nathan has just started off on a lap here, the Red Bull man coming through turn 1, and I thought he was going to run wide there through turn 1, but he managed it nicely coming out of turn 1. Now up the hill through turn 2, and then up towards the kink at turn 3, which is the right-hander, I should say. 15.7 through the first sector, so in and around Carlsberg medium pilot sort of area in terms of the first sector, but see quicker first sectors than that. Now in the middle sector, Nathan running down the hill towards turn 4. Very tricky braking zone. I've seen so many drivers lose it here. It is such a difficult braking zone. Nathan has just made that look pretty easy. This is why we're in the commentary box. I think Luke and Nathan is there out on track doing the job nicely, coming through turn number 6, and he's 44.2 through the middle sector. Legend has been disqualified from the session. Not sure why he's been disqualified from the session. Answers on a postcard, please, I think, with that. But Nathan now coming around the final 2 corners. Looking very nice on the power as well. I think he's going to go in and around Carlsbury sort of area. Yeah, he goes 10th with a 103.2. In fact, just behind his teammate, I think, who's coming out the pits.
Yeah, I think Legend actually got disqualified for the session for blocking the pit lane, and it is very easy to do here. It's quite an awkward pit lane exit, feeds you out just after turn 1, and if you spin it round, there's no chance for anyone to really get past you because you are still blocked off by an Armco barrier. So Legend will be in last. That might make Venom feel a bit better there, but they're both going to have to try and fight their way up through the field. And like you said, you lose that effect of the slipstream further back. I think it's, if you're any further than like 3rd or 4th back in the queue, you're not gaining any slipstream on the car ahead of you. They're getting the same effect basically, so you don't want to be too far back in the queue. Perpetuum Mobile, he's invalidated yet again. He's really struggling around here at the moment to just get a clean lap. Luckily for him, it was early on in the lap, so he'll be able to save some fuel, save some ERS, and go again next time around.
Yeah, Perpetuum really struggling around here in Austria. Hopefully the championship leader's not going to be starting in 15th position, because that's going to be probably one of the most disastrous scenarios I think he could wish for here out on track tonight. Medium Pilot is on a lap. He's a 10th up coming through the middle sector, so let's run on board with this as he now comes through the final 2 corners up the hill towards turns 9 and 10. Fast flowing right-handers here in Austria. Very nice on the curve coming through turn 9 and again through turn 10. He's picking up the slipstream possibly from Recon. What's Medium Pilot's lap? It's a 102.4. He goes quickest by about a 10.5 of a second. So nice lap there by Medium Pilot. Carlsberg is up by 7,000. I think we've got Josh coming through the final corner as well. Thought this was going to be the end of qualifying. We've still got 5 minutes left. Josh across the line. He goes 3rd, 102.7. Carlsberg, 7,000 down. He's invalidated, it looks like, coming through the chicane at turn 8. So Carlsberg now back into the pit lane, not improving.
Yeah, a lot of these drivers might actually start running out of sets of fresh soft tyres if they've invalidated too often and been out a lot. So great lap from Medium Pilot. I mean, I suppose we shouldn't be surprised. He's only managed to do 3 races so far this season. He's won once and he's finished 2nd twice. So 3rd place would be a disappointing result for him in the race. It would amazingly be his worst of the season. So he's shown some fantastic pace. The fact that he's still up there, still very close to the top of the championship despite having missed 1 round.
Yeah, I think the point system as well, to be honest, is in favour possibly Perpetuum, because Perpetuum took the last 2 race wins. Medium Pilot obviously has been so consistent this season. He's only, 6 points I think behind him in the championship. Killer Blue coming around the final corner, he's invalidated. Well, he hasn't invalidated, he's came into the pit lane probably with a lack of time to go, with about 4 minutes to go to Medium Pilot on top, Carlsberg 2nd, Josh in 3rd. Anybody else on a lap? Yaram about to come across the line. He improves, but he doesn't improve his position. 103.217 there from Yaram down in 11th position. What's really surprising though for me, Bianchi down in 13th. I was expecting him to be a lot quicker than that. As you say, I think he went for a slow lap, tried to get one in. He's 6 seconds down on this lap time. So Bianchi down there in 13th. He's got a lot more pace to give, and hopefully he can get a clean lap in.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what I'll be hoping. He's just behind the keeper at the moment. Doesn't look like he's really pushing on this lap either, and it says he's low on fuel, so I wouldn't be surprised if he just dives into the pit lane, and that's not something we've really talked about here. We mentioned the exit, what Legend has been disqualified for. It's a very difficult pit lane entry here, especially if we end up with any wet weather. It's very easy to just understeer out of the pit lane and then have to carry on for another lap. So if you're on old tyres or if the weather changes, that's something the drivers will have to watch out for.
I have honestly seen probably the most weirdest thing ever coming into the pit lane as well. Blizzard actually crashed into the pit lane. I think this was on F1 2018, I remember. And Blizzard, who's now part of CRG, he crashed coming into the pit lane, caused an absolute pile-up, caused the safety car to come out as well. Hopefully we're not going to be seeing anything like that tonight. Papetin, by the way, I think is on a lap, 15.7, coming through the first sector. Let's hope this one is a clean lap. Do you want to talk them through this lap?
Yeah, sure. So DRS open for the final DRS zone on this circuit, heading downhill now towards turn 4. It's quite a tricky braking zone. You just brake a couple of metres too late. Because of the downhill nature, you will go very wide, but he's managed to handle that perfectly. Flat out then through turn 5, 6 and 7. You've got to have full confidence in your car around here. Don't want to understeer off towards the runoff area because it is a long way off with all that gravel. Through 7 and 8, very nice and careful there. Didn't go too far over the curve, so this should be a clean lap as long as he doesn't get too greedy. Through 9, absolutely perfect. Through 10, fifth gear, 120 mile an hour, just about keeps it clean. This is going to be a very good lap from the Mercedes, and it puts him into 4th place, just behind his teammate at the moment. So the Mercedes boys, it took them a while to set a lap time, but they are now up into 3rd and 4th position. That's probably going to be it for Papetin, unless he put a bit more fuel in, because it looks like he's on a cool down lap at the moment. But we have got most of the drivers now out on track getting ready to set their final flying laps. As medium pilot, he's actually invalidated, so if he's got enough fuel, he'll have enough time to get around and set one more time to try and consolidate this pole position, and let's not forget, get them all important 2 points.
Yeah, 2 points as well for the for pole position here, of course. 1 point, of course, for the fastest lap within the race. Medium pilot, as you say, has invalidated. I think there's a Red Bull going quite slow off to the right-hand side. That's Nathan possibly preparing up for a lap, unless he's going to come back into the pit lane. I think he might be coming back in. No, he is preparing for a lap. Just seen that on the mini-map. But here we ride on board with medium pilot. One of the first out on track in terms of fastest laps, and he is a 102.4 currently. He comes through turn 1, now flicking through turn 2, and then towards the top of the hill at turns down. There is a yellow flag coming through sector 3, and it's Darkball that has retired from the session. I think that was in the pit lane possibly, but medium pilot on a lap. Recon's gone second with a 102.5 as well, so nice lap there by the Dutchman. Carlsberg third, Josh in fourth, Papetin in fifth. Let's see what medium pilot can do. He's going to be one of the first, as I say, to come across the line as he now comes round through turn 6. Possible overtaking opportunity that, but 43.7 I should say, 700 down. Medium pilot trying to take as limited run as possible, coming through the exit of turn 8. Now up the hill towards turns 9 and 10. This is really on the limit now from medium pilot as he comes through the final 2 corners. He's invalidated. Coming out the final 2 corners, a medium pilot, sadly, that is his qualifying over and done with. As I get a connection, not currently broadcastable. That connection thing. Yeah, Josh right in the final corner, comes across the line. He would have improved by about a tenth of a second, would have gone second, in fact, as a result of that. Papetin has invalidated as well. Anybody else on a lap? I don't think there's many that are actually on full lap. Siege around the final 2 corners. Plenty of guys have invalidated. Siege now coming through the final 2 corners. And quite shaky from the racing point, not improving on that lap. Bianchi 3/10 up, let's see what he can do. Now, this should be a good lap from Bianchi. Where's he going to go? Goes 6th, that's more like it from Bianchi. Goes 400 off Papetin, but it looks like qualifying's over. Medium pilot on top, Recon second, Carlsberg third.
Yeah, I think Spreen might have got across the line pretty much as the checkered flag fell, so we'll see the Alfa Romeo. He's now coming around the final corner. I think he's just ran a bit wide and he's invalidated, so carried too much speed through the entry of turn 10 and you just saw the car understeer wide. He tried to correct it but wasn't able to do so, so he will end up in 9th place, but no one could beat that second lap time that we saw from Medium Pilot, and he is on the pole position. Great job from the Ferraris, as you said, to be second and third. Mercedes fourth and fifth, and Bianchi right at the death, getting into sixth place. And it's unsurprising how close qualifying it is, given that it's such a short track. Everyone that set a time within a second.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. Darkbolt to run through the rest. Darkbolt in 7th, Killer Blue in 8th, Spreen in 9th, Carlsbury in 10th, top 10 separated by 6/10 of a second. To Keeper in 11th, Nathan in 12th, Yoram 13th, Siege in 14th. Venom obviously retired after turn 1 because he crashed, and Legend got disqualified. They didn't set lap times, so they can start on the free compound of tyres as with everyone else. Let's have a look then at the track in question. 10 corners once again, 36 laps await these drivers out on track. And Luke, I think we're in for an absolute treat with this race, because it is quite sunny as well.
Yeah, so that's good news. You'd expect it to be a one-stop race, but it's very... Fernando Alonso got torpedoed by Daniel Kvyat. I think that was 2017 or perhaps even 2018 where we saw that happen with Alonso into turn 1, uphill braking zones for turn 1 and turn 3, so you can brake a bit later, but you run the risk of locking up the front tyre because it's a lot more unloaded than it would be under normal situations. But these are all very sensible drivers. I'm sure they're going to be a bit patient, wait for the DRS to come into fruition and possibly wait to get the moves done on the strategy.
Yeah, it's going to be really intriguing, of course, and as we wait going into qualifying, Austria is the tracks in question. We've also got the British Grand Prix. You're going to be alongside Aiden in the commentary box tomorrow for Formula 2 as well.
Yeah, Formula 2 cars around Silverstone. That should be fun. It's always a good track for the F2 cars just because they don't have the same amount of downforce as a Formula 1 car. So it's always very entertaining. A bit of a struggle for some of the drivers. Josh, who's in this series, and Siege, they've both put in some decent performances in that, but they're not leading the championship. So you'll have to see how it goes for them tomorrow at 8 p.m.
Tomorrow at 8 p.m, tune in for that. Medium Pilot, of course. Let's have a look at him out on track. His previous results: first in Australia, second in the Netherlands. He didn't start in Monaco, like with many drivers, I think, in Division 1, and he finished second in Canada as well. His worst position finish is second. How do you think he's going to get on from pole position here tonight?
I think we're looking pretty good, to be honest. The two Ferraris, though, can work together, as can the two Mercedes. In the end, Darkbolt, he actually said he was half a second up on his lap. You'll be able to see this on the chat. Half a second up nearly. And he got blocked. So he's down in 7th place. He's not able to support his teammate, whereas the Ferraris and the Mercedes are there to try and help each other along. So that could be very interesting. Whether that will cost Medium Pilot, I don't know. But I wouldn't be surprised to see him go absolutely guns blazing at the start of this race to try and get that 1 second window.
Yeah, it's going to be really intriguing. Perpetuum as well, but he was the first ever driver to take back-to-back victories as well in TTML Division 1 last time out, and hopefully he is going to be maybe making that a hat-trick here tonight. But as you say, Darkbolt, he's got to be wary as well from the AlphaTauris around him. Bianchi and Killer Blue, who are 6th and 8th positions, so it's pretty much going to turn into a team affair, I think. Ferraris, Mercedes and AlphaTauris possibly working together. But speak about the strategies as well. Yoram, Siege, Legend all starting on a set of softs. To Keeper, Nathan and Venom on a set of mediums. Everyone else, of course, in the top 10 starting on that set of soft compound of tyres. Quickly before we begin, who's your top 3?
Top 3, I think I'm going to go Medium Pilot, Josh, and I think Darkbolt might have the bit between his teeth, so I think he could sneak on the podium.
That's very interesting, I think. Yeah, we should see a good race, though. Obviously, the red lights are about to go out. Lovely view down in towards turn 1 this. The 5 lights are on for round 6 here in Austria. And away we go. Medium Pilot gets a very good start. So does Recon as well. And it looks like Recon getting overtaken by Carlsberg. Right around the outside through turn 1. Carlsberg through. He's up to 2nd. Fantastic stuff by the Brit. There's a McLaren round in the background. I think that's Carlsberg dropping down the order. Siege, I think, might have been caught up in a little bit of a contact as well. But up the run towards turn 3. Medium Pilot leads. Carlsberg 2nd. Recon and 3rd. Look at Perpetuum trying to go all the way around the outside of Recon. And he's got the move done around the outside. Brilliant stuff. But now, 3 wide down the straight. Josh, Recon, Perpetuum. Papetum. Look at this for a camera shot. Running down the hill towards turn 4. The two Mercedes have ganged up on the Ferrari, trying to go round the outside. How on earth they've managed it 3 wide through turn 4 is absolutely beyond me. Josh and Papetum are fighting it out coming through turn 6. They're not giving up. Their teammates, they don't want to make contact. Josh through, he's up to 3rd. Papetum down to 4th. Recon has been bullied out of the positions early on, with Bianchi riding behind. Dogbolt and Killer Blue staying as they are. What a fantastic first lap though. We come up towards the end of lap 1. Medium Pilot 5/10s clear. Not really going away with things though out in front, with Kalsper in 2nd, Josh in 3rd, Papetum 4th, Recon 5th, Bianchi 6th, Dogbolt in 7th. As we see a little bit of a glitch there as Recon now tries to go down the inside, I think, of Bianchi. No, it's not. He's down the inside of Papetum and he gets the move done. Or does he? Because Papetum gets the run out and it matches him. So yo-yo effect going on there for Papetum and Recon. They're down in 4th and 5th, but now running up the hill in towards turn number 3 for the first time. It's Medium Pilot who leads, Kalsper 2nd, Josh 3rd, Papetum 4th, Recon in 5th. What a start that was!
I closed my eyes when Josh, Papetum and Recon went 3 wide on the straight. There was no way I didn't think that was going to end up in an accident. Somehow it didn't, and Papetum and Recon decided to have another go at it here. Recon's going to get shoved slightly wide there, and Papetum's just about managing to get ahead, but this has obviously allowed Josh to escape ever so slightly. Now it looks like Medium Pilot's trying to build the gap a bit more. De Keeper's been into the pits. He's put the hard tyres on, so he might have been involved in that incident earlier, possibly with Carlsberry and Siege, but Medium Pilot, he's going to be trying to get away at the moment. He's not managed to break that DRS window, but I think Carlsberg and Josh might just be glad that Recon was able to get a good run on the end of the last lap. He hasn't been able to do the same this time around, but now this is when the DRS train is going to start, so it's going to get a bit more difficult for everyone from Josh down to really overtake now.
Yeah, Nathan into the pit lane as well, so he's obviously had a half spin somewhere out on track. Recon right on the back of Papetum, though, running up the hill towards turn number 3, but Medium Pilot currently leads, Kalsper 2nd, Josh in 3rd, and as you say, he hasn't broken that toe just yet, Medium Pilot. He's only 5/10s clear of Kalsper, and no Kalsper on his day. He will be up for a fight. It's normally him and Recon that fight around here in Austria, but this time around their teammates, and Medium Pilot has currently got all the answers to the Ferrari's question, and indeed to the Mercedes' questions as well. Further down the field, Carlsbury looks like he's on the back of Venom. Venom's made up a good couple of positions actually off the start. I think he's gained 4 positions. He has from 15th on the grid up to 11th. Carlsbury's down 2. Carlsbury though on quicker tyres, you would imagine that Venom's going to be under a lot of pressure, and Carlsbury should get the move done, but they're in this DRS train.
Yeah, that could actually help Venom. As we see now, Screen, he's actually dived towards the pit, so I wonder if he picked up any damage. Venom's clearly pushing hard as he's earned himself a penalty. So interestingly, Venom's now the only person on the medium tyres. It was both Red Bulls who were, and they've had to ditch theirs very early on as well. So could be interesting for Venom. He could now be one to watch at the end of the race. Just needs to make sure he stays within a second of that queue, because he's just dropped ever so slightly behind it. So this might give Carlsberry the chance he needs if he can stay close enough through turn 3, but Venom actually manages to get a good exit there. Out in front though, Carlsberg's really closed up to the back of Medium Pilot, but again, not close enough to get a move done.
Yeah, 3/10 of a second. Spreen, by the way, having that drive-through penalty off the start. That's why he came into the pits to serve that up. And a good question, I think, actually from Spreen to try and get that drive-through penalty done as soon as possible. He can try and undercut, but he is on a set of soft compound tyres. Legend on the back here of Siege as well. This is for 12th and 13th out on track. Siege going to be under a little bit of pressure here, the Racing Point, compared to the Ferrari. The Ferrari right on the back, but coming in towards turn 9, impossible to try and get the overtake done. Josh, in the meantime, is right on the back of Carlsberg coming up the hill towards turn 1. It is Medium Pilot who leads. Carlsberg 2nd, Josh in 3rd. We are on lap 5, and Josh gets a phenomenal run out of turn 1, but they're stuck in this DRS train running up the hill. They're dropping Papetum though. Papetum now a second off Josh. Legend has got the move done on Siege running through turn 1. I think Siege might have just overcooked it slightly going in through turn 1. Saw that on the mini-map. Good move there by Legend. He's up into 12th position. Medium Pilot leads, Carlsberg 2nd, Josh in 3rd, but the top 3, I think, just beginning to break away as my voice is already going.
Yeah, I think Papetum seems to have found a bit more pace on this lap, so I wonder if he made a mistake, because we saw that earlier on, and that allowed Recon to actually get alongside him on the start of lap 2. So I wonder if something similar happened, because he seems to have closed that back up. It was actually the drive-through penalty for Spreen for his jump start, obviously, like you said, James. He did seem to hold everyone quite a long time at the start, but he's got that drive-through penalty out of the way, but he's really compromised his strategy. I suppose The one good thing about that, he's now got free air, so he's not going to get held up in the middle sector. Bianchi doing a good job to try and hold onto the back of these, and he's bringing Dark Bolt along with him. Killer Blue's just a bit further back, but as is Yarman. But you can see Venom, he's really holding those up behind him who are on the soft tyres. The gap 3 seconds now between 9th and 10th position.
Yeah, Carlsbury, I think, is going to have this one, possibly up the hill towards turn 3. Obviously, we've got further action up ahead as well. Carlsbury will switch to the outside. Venom switches to the inside line. There's an interesting defensive line taken by the Scotsman, trying to go all the way around the outside, though, the fin of Carlsbury. Now, it looks like he's got the move done on that fresh set of soft compound of tyres. He's through and he's up to 20th position. Legend could have a run in here as well. The Dane on the back of the Scotsman, but I don't think he's going to get the move done, Legend. Yeah, Carlsbury through, he's up to 10th. Legend, though, having to wait and sit another lap, it seems.
Yeah, he seems to be enjoying himself at the moment. Josh has actually earned a penalty now, so maybe he's just pushing a bit hard, but like Perpetuum has closed up to the back of him, so we've got Williams, Ferrari, then Mercedes, Ferrari, Alpha Tauri, Dartbolt not too far behind. These top 7, as I said, just beginning to get away ever so slightly now, so Dartbolt's actually in a pretty good position here, because he can just see how everyone's doing, and as soon as he starts feeling his tyres to go, he'll be in the pits, he'll go for that undercut, because it can really boost you a long, long way up the order. We see it happen in league racing, we see it happen in Formula 1 all the time. I think that's what I'd be thinking of if I was some of these lower down in this train at the moment.
Yeah, looking further in behind as well, Yoram is on the back of Killer Blue. Killer Blue's dropped off the top 7, actually. He's now 1.5 seconds behind, and now Yoram is going to try and get the move done here. The Haas is going to be given the inside line by Killer Blue. But now, here comes Yoram down the inside line. He overcooks it slightly. There is the front end plate, actually, of Killer Blue to the left-hand side. But Yoram is through and he's up into 8th position. Clean as you like from the Haasman. He's through and he's up to 8th. And I thought, actually, he had damage there, but he doesn't. So Yoram through and he's up into 8th position. But as you say, that yeah, the top 7 beginning to pull away from these guys. Kalsper is keeping right up with Medium Pilot. Medium Pilot just cannot get a break. He's trying to fall. I think the guys in beyond are trying to force Medium Pilot into a bit of a mistake, but so far, nobody cracking under the pressure.
Yeah, to be honest, just looking at the ERS of a few of these top guys, they're all hovering around high 80s, low 90s, especially the top 3, so it's not like they're really going for it at this moment in time. So I think they're all just driving their own steady race at the moment and not really bothering too much, perhaps, to even go for the overtake, because you've got to say, if Carlsberg wanted, as he puts a bit on overtake on now, could probably use more at more points of the lap and get the move done. And same with Medium Pilot, if he really wanted to get away, he'd just put the overtake mode on and streak away from the field. So they're all just sort of driving their own race, getting into their own rhythm at the moment, which means you're probably not going to see any mistakes from them. I think as soon as the pit stop period comes in, that's where you're going to see a lot of movement from these guys.
Yeah, Medium Pilot, of course, leading the way. Venom, I think, has spun coming through turn 5. He has. And he's lost his front wing, so the Scotsman round. Not sure what happened there. He was in and around Legend Siege sort of area, so I think Venom might have just overcooked it on the brakes, possibly down in towards turn 4. But it looks like there are movements coming into the pit lane. Carlsper in, Perpetuum in. No surprise, there's a VSC out on track.
Yeah, so Carlsper and Perpetuum in. They must have gone very late, to be honest, so surprised Dartbolt and a few others didn't follow them. It's a bit earlier than they would have expected, but they'll get that advantage. It's not the same as obviously pitting under a full safety car, but you do get a tiny bit of advantage under the VSC, and it looks like Carlsberg Perfection might have just called that perfect as they've been in the pits for the entire time, and this will allow a few of the others to catch up as well. One thing this does mean, of course, is it has spread out that entire top part of the field just ever so slightly, so the gap's a bit longer. So this might be the chance for Medium Pilot, once we go green again, to maybe just break that window back to Josh, who is now in 2nd place, Recon 3rd, Bianchi 4th, Dartbolt 5th as we go green once again, and Recon's got himself a drive-through penalty.
Yeah, speeding under the VSC, so that is to do, I think, with the delta time that he possibly would have been set, and if he's just a fraction over or even under, because I have seen a bit of a glitch with the delta time, if that was done underneath, in the green, essentially, Recon might have that removed. But he is coming into the pit lane. I wonder what's going to be served first, the drive-through or a pit stop. Coming into the pit lane he comes. Darkbolt and Bianchi staying out. So Recon into the pits from 3rd position out on track. Let's see what he does. There's Total Wolf to the right-hand side there as he comes through the pit lane. And it's his drive-through penalty first. So his drive-through penalty first. And that's really going to cost him.
Yeah, that's going to drop him a long, long way down the order. You're going to get an idea Kalsberg even pitted, obviously, under the VSC. Recon's just drove straight through the pit lane, hasn't stopped, and he's still not really been able to get ahead of him. So that's how much time you gain under the VSC by pitting. It's a good 5-6 seconds that Kalsberg and Papetum will have been able to gain now. So it wouldn't surprise me if Recon comes in shortly. You wouldn't expect him really to be much faster than Papetum, although that's not the greatest exit from the Mercedes driver, and Recon might be able to have a bit of a chance here all the way around the outside into turn 4, but he's ahead before the braking zone. Papetum's not bothered about this fight at this moment in time.
No, he's thinking longer term in the race. I think Papetum, obviously on a hard set of tyres. He's got Recon, though, ahead of him. This is going to play in favour of the Ferrari man, Kalsberg ahead, who's 2.8 seconds ahead and pulling away from Recon. Recon is now here to disrupt the things with Papetum, and he's 3.5 tenths off, and currently, you would say he's doing a good job, but it looks like Recon might be staying out on track at least for another lap longer, as he picks up a 3-second time penalty. It could be costly towards the end of the race. But we are on lap 11 and it's Medium Pilot who leads, but now Josh right on the back of Medium Pilot. Is he going to dive it down the inside? No. Low was looking like he was going to get the run possibly through towards turn 4, but Medium Pilot does lead. Josh in second. Is Josh going to have the run here on Medium Pilot, I wonder? No, he's running limited overtake mode, running down the straight, and Medium Pilot hangs on for the lead of the race, but Kalsberg's already on the back of Siege and past him.
Yeah, so Kalsberg, you can see he's already got past Siege, so that was a pretty straightforward move. Nothing Siege can do. It'll be another 1 or 2 laps, I think, before we start seeing some of these soft tyre runners come into the pits and then quite possibly go on the hards until the end, or maybe a few might try to stretch it longer and go onto the mediums. We've got a yellow flag in sector 2 and 3, and I think that is Darkbolt, who has gone off through turn 7 and 8, and that's going to be another place gain for Kalsberg.
Yeah, Kalsberg gaining through and Siege gaining through as well. Bianchi into the pits, responds to Darkbolt. He's got right side end plate damage coming into the pit lane. Not sure what happened. I didn't see it. Did you, Luke?
No, I didn't. I just saw the yellow flag come up, and then all of a sudden Darkbolt a long way off. I just wonder, has maybe Bianchi gone for a move into turn 7 and it's just not pulled off, but he's out of the pits. He's on the medium tyres. So he's trying to get the tyres to stretch a long way now. As Papetum, he's managed to get back past Recon. That's going to be crucial for him and his teammate, and trying to see if he can get anything from the end of this race. Still got a chance of getting good points in that Ferrari. Yeah,
Colesbury as well on the back of Bianchi, and the McLaren just pulls to the outside line to try and get the move done. This is on a hard set of tyres, remember. Bianchi on a set of mediums. There is a yellow flag in sector 3. It is Takipa who was retired in the pit lane, but it's side by side between Bianchi and Colesbury. Down in towards turn 6. Can the thing get through? Oh, and there's contact. And Bianchi and Colesbury come together. Not sure who was at fault with that one, to be honest. Colesbury looked like he was going for a move. The gap was always going to close. To be honest, I would say that's a racing incident.
Yeah, it always happens around there. You've got to have a very trusting driver alongside you to not make the contact happen. We've seen Medium Pilot come into the pits. He has put the hard tyres on. And there we go. There's a bigger advantage of what the VSC costs you, because Medium Pilot is going to come out behind Yarham. About 8 seconds. It's not 6 seconds, sorry, behind Kalsberg all of a sudden. So that's how much time you gain. Josh and Siege and Recon, the only drivers yet to pit. They might be trying to go a bit longer, like I said, to put the medium tyres on. At the moment, it's only Darkbolt and Bianchi that have done that, but they'll be very second best at the end of the race. Another important point for Josh, I believe he's now got 6 seconds of penalties, so might need to calm it down in this race.
Yeah, Josh going quite long, though, in the race, you would argue, I think. Obviously, the VSC coming out has really interfered, I think, with Kalsberg and Papetum's chances, certainly. They're now in net lead of the race and net P2 as well, respectively. Josh, though, coming into the pits, I'm going to imagine he's going to be in and around Killer Blue Bianchi sort of area when he comes out the pits. So he goes on to a set of medium compound of tyres. Let's watch this pit stop as he comes in. You see the face of the driver. A lot of concentration going on there from Josh's cockpit. Siege as well into the pit lane. And in fact, I think, to be honest, I'm going to be completely wrong with what I just predicted there, because he looks like he's going to be just out behind Yarham or in between Killer Blue and Bianchi. And I think it's going to be the latter rather than the former, as he is behind Killer Blue coming out the pits. But what advantage is it for a set of mediums compared to a set of hards? Killer Blue obviously on a set of hards, Josh now on a set of mediums. Josh surely in the shorter term of the race, he's going to be quicker than Killer Blue.
Yeah, and in fact, he might already get the move done now because Killer Blue hasn't got DRS. Josh is going to go down the inside towards turn 4. Was up ahead of him. Medium Pilot's pulling off the same move on Yarham. So they were 1-2 before the pits. They're now 4th and 6th. Well, back to 5th and 6th because Yarham's fighting back on those hard tyres. This is for permission. Let's not forget because Yarham fitted under VSC. A great driving from the two of them. Yarham managing to stay ahead of Medium Pilot. I don't think that's what the Williams will have wanted because obviously Josh, he's going to be trying to work his way up through the field as quickly as possible, and this is just holding Medium Pilot up at the moment as Recon finally gets rid of those soft tyres. Surely he'll be going on to the mediums to try and salvage something from this race as well, and I think if Josh ends up winning this race, he's going to owe Yarham a drink, definitely, because he's helped him quite a lot as Dartbolt now retires from the session.
Yeah, that's through turn 7 once again, so that might actually bring out the safety car. Medium Pilot, that was on the back of Yarham. This has been a tremendous battle. Coming up towards turn 3, and now Medium Pilot, shoot, he's going to get the move done. No, Yarham is saying no way, Jose. He's trying to go all the way around the outside. Josh could add a 3-way down in towards turn 3, and now Yarham out of turn 3, gets a poor run. Medium Pilot to the outside line. Josh is coming through. Could he get them both? Josh down the inside of Medium Pilot, tries it, fails, and Medium Pilot somehow hangs on. Yarham is round. Yarham, I think, contact the back of Josh, and he's round.
Oh, such a shame for Yarham. He just ran out of ERS slightly, so that clipping of the deployment at the top of the hill at turn 3, so that's why Josh got such a good run on him. I'm not sure if Josh was originally going for a move on Medium Pilot, but I think it is a good job he pulled out at the last minute, otherwise that could have took them out, and such a shame for Yarham. He's going to have to come into the pits. He'll put the medium tyres on, but he will be stone dead last at the moment. And now is the time. Josh has to get this move done on this lap and just start building a gap. Not only does he not want to get held up by Medium Pilot because of lap time, his tyre temperature will be going up and up and up. It looks like this is going to be a straightforward move.
Yeah, job done, I think, from Josh there. The Medium Pilot, the medium's really working into good effect there for Josh. He is through on Medium Pilot. Medium Pilot just said, thank you very much, come again. Josh through and he's up to 3rd position. Carlsberg, though, leading the way. Perpetuum 2nd, Josh in 3rd. This has got championship implications as well, as we see, actually, a side-by-side battle running up the hill between Cosbury and Legend. Cosbury trying to go up the inside. Legend, though, has got the move done. No, they're coming down towards turn 4. I'm on board with the wrong person. That was Recon we're on board with. Cosbury through, and he's up into 7th position. Legend is fighting this. This is a really good battle between them both, though.
Yeah, Carlsbury will be hoping that Legend doesn't go down the inside of him into turn 6, because he's already had an incident there earlier on in this race with Bianchi, so they're managing to get that move done. Recon on the medium tyres, he's in 9th, so Siege also on the mediums in 10th, so you'll expect them to be able to catch up to this battle then for 7th and 8th position as Josh, there we go, fastest lap of the race, 105.696. Just looking at the timing chart quickly, no one else has been into the 105s yet, so he's absolutely flying along at this moment in time. He knows he's got that penalty. He knows he's got to drive quickly as Recon now with the fastest lap of the race. This could be interesting when he catches up to Perpetuum, whether there'll be any team orders going on, because let's not forget, Josh's mediums won't be in as good as condition as they are now when he does catch up to his teammate.
Yeah, he's got to think about the longer term implications as well, I think, Josh. Obviously, those tyres are going to last, what, 23, 24 laps, possibly even maybe less than that, to be honest. Josh, yeah, it'll be around 20, 21 laps, I think, to be honest, for Josh. Medium Pilot is going to keep him pretty much on the toes at every stretch of the imagination, but what this is going to do, I think, is Perpetuum is going to be on that set of hards. Josh is going to drag Medium Pilot and Bianchi into play. Bianchi now on a set of mediums, of course, as well. So they're hoping to be dragged along. And I think Josh, sooner rather than later, is going to be on the back of Perpetuum. He's going to drag Medium Pilot and Bianchi along with things. And we're going to see a 4-way battle for second develop, with Carlsberg possibly going away for the win of the race.
Yeah, that could be very right. Like I said, penalties are going to come to play as well. Medium Pilot needs to use his ERS out of all these traction zones, really, just to try and keep up with Josh, because Josh is using his just to try and catch up to Perpetuum Mobile, and he's doing it a lot quicker than I thought he would. Surprised Bianchi's not trying to get more closer to the back of Medium Pilot, actually, because obviously he needs to use those mediums as well as he can now, otherwise he might be under threat at the end of the race from his teammate. This is going to be a very interesting end to the race, because Josh, Bianchi, and I think Carlsberg and Perpetuum Mobile, all their tyres will be looking second best, so possibly all the top 8 might be struggling on their tyres at the end, apart from Medium Pilot.
Yeah, and Recon as well, down in 9th position. He's on a relatively fresh set of mediums as well. Obviously, he's going to be using the tyres up right now. But hopefully he might be able to get some stretch of the imagination. He might be able to get into contention because he's certainly catching Legend and Carlsberry and is quicker out of everyone else out on track. But like what I said last lap around, here we go. Four-way battle for second about to begin. Perpetum, Josh, Medium Pilot and Bianchi. More immediately, it looks like it's going to be the two Mercedes. We've already seen a good battle between these two as Josh now runs up the hill behind Perpetum. And we see Medium Pilot close up there in fourth position as well. But Bianchi in fifth. We are more than halfway through. Carlsberg leads. Perpetum second, Josh in third. Here comes Josh trying to get the move done. I think Perpetum's going to hand this one, to be honest, to Josh on a silver platter. Josh down the inside. Perpetum's not going to make it easy though. He's going to try and get the switch back through turn 4. But Josh is through and he's up into second position. Easy as you like.
Yeah, I'm surprised that was actually as easy as it was for Josh. Perpetum must have just decided to lift off slightly to make that easier because Josh didn't get the best exit out. This could be interesting to see what sort of team games goes on now between the Mercedes drivers because Josh is going to try and break that 1 second window. He's going to want to push up to get up to Carlsberg. If he does that, that's going to put Perpetum under big pressure for Medium Pilot, who actually nearly loses it coming out of the final corner. So Josh needs to catch up to Carlsberg, and I think Perpetum's going to try and just hold on to the back of his teammate at the moment. So if they were working well together, Josh should just go fast, but not too fast to make sure that 1 second window gets broken back to his teammate, in other words, to help with the constructors. Probably a bit too early for them maybe to be thinking about the championship, though. For now, just think about the win.
Just think about the win. I think, and Bianchi, actually, he's on the back of this run of 4. He's on a set of medium compound size. I said this last lap, I think. But Bianchi is looking, to be honest, rather quick, and he's on the back of Medium Pilot as well. Perpetum obviously down there in third position, but currently, as Recon actually sails past Legend coming down the straight, and it looks like the same is going to be occurring as well with Spreen and Siege. So position gains there for the Ferrari and the Alfa Romeo out on track. Recon up to 8th, Spreen up to 10th position. And to be honest, Spreen has made that look pretty easy. He's on a 10-lap old set of hards. Compared to Siege on a set of mediums, you would imagine Siege would be pulling away. But Spreen looks like he's got some good pace and looks like he could possibly challenge Legend later on in the race. But he's through and he's up to P10 for now.
Yeah, I do wonder if Siege actually made a mistake there because he was right on the back of Recon earlier on. So he's clearly not got the same pace as him, but you wouldn't expect hard tyres to catch up to fresher mediums, but that is what has happened at this moment in time. Like you said, Bianchi has all of a sudden got a move on, and Josh, I'm just wondering, has he got a bit hard early on these tyres? Because he's not really pulling away from any of these drivers behind him at this moment in time. Josh, Perpetum, Medium Pilot and Bianchi, just less than 2 seconds separating them at this moment in time. They are catching up to Carlsberg, who at the moment has a 2.8 second lead. All Carlsberg's got to do is try and drive his own race, drive nice and smoothly, save his tyres, not get any penalties, and save his ERS. So if Josh does get within a second in the next couple of laps, Carlsberg has that electrical energy, that extra 150 horsepower to try and fight it off.
Josh actually beginning to bridge the gap to Carlsberg, it seems, as well. 2.5 seconds is the gap. The last time I saw it, it was about 3.1. So Josh is beginning to bridge the gap, and he's bringing along a whole load of compadres with them as well. Medium Pilot on the back of Perpetum, though. This has got championship implications. The front 2 in the standings, in fact, the front 4 in the standings, pretty much reversed, is the order currently out on track, with Medium Pilot obviously down there in 4th position. He is getting close to the back of Perpetum, but I don't think he's going to be close enough for the move. Yeah, unless he channeled his inner Daniel Ricciardo, which he definitely doesn't have. Medium Pilot stays in 4th position for now, but very interesting race beginning to develop. And as I said, don't rule out Recon as well. He's now on the back of Carlsberg. Carlsberg is really under pressure here, the Finn, from the Dutchman. And Recon getting the move on. Has he got time to catch Killer Blue and the likes?
Oh, Killer Blue, definitely. I think he's got a chance. Any further than that, I think could maybe rely on if Bianchi's medium tyres start going, because let's not forget Bianchi is stuck in all this traffic, as there's another time penalty for Josh. So that's now 9 seconds in this race. So I think, let's not forget, if you can catch Carlsberg and pass him on track, I can't see any way you'd be able to build a 9 second gap above everyone else at the moment. He's nearly a second ahead of Perpetum, but the longer that stays, the more likely it is Perpetum's just going to drag everyone else along, as Yarham, he's been into the pits again and he has retired. So we are now down to just 13 runners here, but we've got absolutely no clue out of the top 5, and maybe even some a bit further down, who's going to take the victory.
Yeah, we'll have a look at the penalty scenario probably towards the end of the race. But here comes Recon absolutely sailing by on Carsbury. This is going to be pretty easy, to be honest. Recon need not use DRS. I think that move would have been without it, because Recon is now through and he's up into 7th position. 4 seconds to catch on Killer Blue. Expect that gap to be closed within the next 5 laps.
Together, so you would expect Recon to catch up to Killer Blue, especially given the fact that Killer Blue's on 13 lap old hard tyres. So despite the fact that the mediums wear quicker, even by the time he catches up, I'd still expect the mediums to have just a tad more pace. And Josh, he's definitely catching up to Calsper, but still, like we said earlier, he's just dragging everyone along with him, which is probably bad news for Josh, obviously, with that penalty. The one thing Josh could really do without is a late safety car. It looks like most of the field is actually fairly spread out, with perhaps an exception, obviously, of these guys at the top. You'd expect Recon to now get away from Carsbury, and Spreen and Siege still battling for the final points. Josh doesn't want any contact whatsoever, because if the penalties start getting handed out and there's a safety car, that could really drop him a long way down the order.
Yeah, it's going to be really intriguing, I think. Obviously, Josh, with those penalties, it could mean that Perpetuum could have a little bit of team orders going on between the Mercedes, and Josh lets through Perpetuum once again. But that gap, now, Josh, whatever his plan is coming down. It's 1.4 seconds. I think 2 laps ago I said it was 2.5. So it's came down by about half a second a lap. Calsper really beginning to come under pressure here from Josh. Obviously, with the fresher tyres, we should see the delta point, I think, between the mediums and the hards begin to change within the next 4, 5, 6 laps or so, I would say. The hards will eventually become quicker than the medium compound tyres out on track. But Josh, there in 2nd position, 1.2 the gap, he's beginning to absolutely fly out on track, and he's dragging Perpetuum, medium pilot, not so much Bianchi now, he's just dropped out of DRS range, but certainly the top 4 look like they're going to do a good battle out on track here tonight.
Yeah, I think those mediums on Bianchi's just been stuck in that queue of traffic. Probably made him a bit hotter now, and he might start to struggle. So this could also give hope for Recon, maybe. If Bianchi really starts dropping down the order, we could see Recon, despite having that drive-through penalty, somehow sneak into the top 5. It'll be a tall order, but with the pace he's showing at the moment, obviously holding the fastest lap, so looking like he's getting that bonus point. That could be very interesting indeed. He's also dragging Carsbury up to the back of Killer Blue, so we could have a three-way battle for 6th position, as well as the three-way battle that it looks like we've got for 2nd, which very shortly, now that Josh is within a second of Calsper, probably going to be a 4-way battle for the lead.
Yeah, I'm just right on board as well. Good battle for 10th going on here between Spreen and Siege. Spreen really defending aggressively out on track, parking the car pretty much in the middle of every single corner he goes through, and Siege currently in 11th position, not finding a way through at all, but gap for the lead. Josh now within 0.5 of a second on the back of Calsper with about 10 laps to go out on track. This is going to be a really intriguing end to this race. Josh very late on the brakes. He's on the back of Calsper, and now this is the time for him to strike, but I don't think he's going to be close enough on the run down towards turn 4 unless he's got a jetpack underneath that car. I don't think he's going to be getting the move done, and he doesn't. But I think Nathan has rejoined, so the interval timings have just glitched on my end. Nathan has just rejoined. He was having a few disconnection issues, but he is down there in, what now, 13th position. He could be down in 12th, actually, because Venom is into the pit lane. There's Calsper, who leads Josh 2nd, Perpetuum 3rd, Media Parliament 4th, and answers on a postcard regarding the interval timings, please.
Well, I'd love to be able to help you, but it looks like they've gone down at my end at the moment. But I don't think we don't need interval time, to tell you. It's very close at the moment between 1st and 2nd. And probably 3rd and 4th. Perpetuum, he's still within that 2nd, but he's just about 8 to 9 tenths, you've got to say. And there we go, as the dew starts popping up with Josh. This is the closest he's been. If he just keeps it nice and clean through turn 1, which he has, I think he's got a fantastic run coming up now. Here we go, onto the back of Calsper. Calsper doesn't even bother going defensive. He's just going to let Josh go. Of course, I expect the Ferrari driver has asked Jeff how many penalties Josh has. So there we go, Josh in the lead of this race. Now he's got to absolutely floor it for the next 9.5 laps.
Yeah, Calsper having a poor run out there as well. Perpetuum trying to close down. Recon, by the way, has got the move done on Killer Blue. That is him through down into 6th, and actually they're side by side, I think, running down the straight. Killer Blue and Recon, the glitching timings are going on, but Killer Blue, I think he's on the outside line here around the outside of Recon. No, he's on the inside line. Recon trying to go all the way around the outside. Carsbury as well involved there. but they're still side by side coming through turn 6. Killer Blue trying to turn in a little bit of tap there from Recon. The gap was always going to close, but Recon's through and he's up to 6th. To be honest, that camera angle was very much deceiving on my end. Saw the contact, but Recon having a bit of a weave on. Not happy with that.
To be honest, I'm surprised that didn't end with the pair of them spinning. For a second, it looked like Recon was going to go around, and then I think when he saved that, that caused him to hit Killer Blue again, and the Alpha Tauri did a very good job, I must say, of drifting his way around turn 6 to hold on there. Now, Perpetual all of a sudden has gone for a move, and he's gone very deep, and that is going to allow the Ferrari to get the place back, and Medium Pilot's just not close enough to take advantage. So Perpetual Mobile must have got past Medium Pilot all of a sudden, I think, here, and now you can see him battling on the back of Kalsper. This has got very interesting. I thought that was going to end up in an incident, but I think all of a sudden Perpetuum's like, right, Josh has got penalties, I can win this race.
And now, actually, Bianchi's dropped off quite a long way from the field, so he's now 4 seconds behind these guys. Josh leading on a set of mediums, trying to pull away, but Kalsper, Perpetuum, Medium Pilot, this top 4 battle is going to be quite insane with 8 more laps to go, as we come around with 8 more laps to go. After this one, is Josh who leads Kalsper 2nd, Perpetuum 3rd, Medium Pilot in 4th, and as you say, yeah, I think Perpetuum got the move done possibly up towards turn 3, didn't see the move actually get pulled off, so Medium Pilot now back down towards P4. But now it is all about Josh. Can he take this out to the lead of the race, and can he cross the line in first with those penalties? I don't think on penalties wise he's going to do it, but now Medium Pilot trying to go all the way around the outside of Perpetuum. They make a little bit of contact. Perpetuum goes in a little bit deep. Medium Pilot trying to get the switch back. Can the Williams outfight and outdrag the Mercedes down the straight? This is going to be a drag down towards turn 4. Perpetuum is shutting the door on Medium Pilot, and again they come into contact slightly. Medium Pilot down the inside on the outside line. Oh, they make contact, and Perpetuum's round. Perpetuum is round, and unfortunately that is a desync, I think. Gulfing system failing there. Perpetuum round in P5. So unfortunate.
Yeah, I was just looking at my screen. It looked like Medium Pilot wasn't really giving much room there to Perpetuum. But like you said, it was a bit of desync, I think, at the moment of the major spins. So unlucky for Perpetuum. But that's now put him in under pressure, probably, from Recon over the next few laps. The gap at the moment is hovering around 4 seconds with 7 laps to go. It's very possible that the Ferrari might be able to get ahead of the Mercedes. Big winner from that, obviously, with a championship battle. Medium Pilot, and also Kalsper and Josh, I don't think will be too disappointed about that. But now Medium Pilot, he doesn't have to bother about defending. He could just thinking about going all out attack. He's managed to get DRS off Nathan up the hill towards turn 3, which is a big help, as he actually dropped 1.5 seconds behind Kalsper at this moment in time. I think we're going to see some moves from the Williams driver soon. He's on fresher tyres than Kalsper at this moment in time, and Josh has the penalties. He could well claim another victory. Let's not forget, if he finishes in 3rd, that is his worst finish of the season so far. He's always been in the top 2 all 3 races that he's competed in.
Yeah, remember as well, with Josh's penalties, it could change things, of course. There will be stewards' investigations, of course, after the race for any reports that are put in by any of our drivers out on track tonight. And I'm sure the stewards might be quite busy. With 6 more laps to go, Josh leads, but it seems to me as if Kalsper is beginning to pick up the pace. That set of hards, what I said earlier on about the delta time beginning to change between the hards and the mediums, I think we're seeing that right now. And Kalsper could have timed this to absolute perfection. Of course, he came in underneath the VSC. Josh didn't. Josh is out there on 5 lap fresher tyres. But Kalsper, I feel, is going to be quicker, certainly within the last 3 laps of the race.
Oh yeah, definitely. You would expect that now. You'd expect Kalsper to be starting to show a bit better pace. So he did a 106.4 on the last lap, as did Josh. And Medium Pilot, he did a 106.1. So unsurprisingly, with their fresher tyres, he's the quickest out of these top 3 drivers at the moment. That's why the gap between all of them has got down to 2 seconds. Kalsper is obviously getting the advantage of the DRS off Josh, so that's helping drag him up, and that could just prove to be a bit hard for Medium Pilot in the latter stages of this race. If he wants to get an overtake done, he's going to have to get past Kalsper, despite the Ferrari also having DRS. But with 5 laps to go, it's safe to say Josh, I've just checked, he has got 9 seconds of penalties, and Kalsper and Medium Pilot are clean. So I think Josh is out of it after the penalties get applied. On track, any one of these 3 could end up taking the checkered flag.
Yeah, it is Josh who does lead the way. Kalsper in 2nd. Nathan has left the session. He's at a 101.9, which I don't think is pretty much the pace that I think he might have been. I think that's been a little bit of a decent lap there, to be honest, from Nathan. Because these guys, I think, were setting 1:05, so it's just gone 4 seconds quicker. Papetan, by the way, is through on Bianchi, running up the hill in towards turn 3, so that is important for the championship. Papetan getting extra points. He's through on Bianchi, and he's through and he's up to P4. Remember, he's on 22 lap Old Hard. He pitted under the VSC. Bianchi didn't, and now we're seeing that change in the tyres between the hards and the mediums. As I said earlier on, Papetan now up to 4th position. He can now try and close on a medium pilot, but 7.7 seconds with 4 laps to go after this one. Pretty much impossible, I think, to do. Unless he puts on a set of softs and nobody was to pass him, then I think obviously Papetan wouldn't do that and lose all of the positions that he's gained. But very important for the constructor standings as well. Mercedes are going to be extending their lead, it seems, but in terms of the drivers' standings out on track, Josh and Calsper and Medium Pilot all gaining on the championship leader. So that is going to be major gains. Medium Pilot, though, looking very quick on the back of Calsper all of a sudden.
Yeah, he's got that gap down, so it's pretty much half a second between Josh and Calsper, half a second between Calsper and Medium Pilot. This is going to get very tasty all of a sudden. Further back, Bianchi, his tyres, I think his mediums are completely shot by the looks of things, because Recon has managed to really reel that gap in, and Petcham's now about 2 seconds ahead of the Alpha Tauri driver, so I think Bianchi could start dropping down the order, definitely behind Recon. His teammate probably just a bit too far behind. In fact, his teammate at the moment too busy fighting off the attention of Carlsby for 7th and 8th position, but it looks like Killer Blue is just about going to be able to hold it off. This is going to get very interesting now. You can see Josh just ahead of Calsper, and Medium Pilot, still feel like he's going to go for a move on the Ferrari at some point in this race.
I think Medium Pilot, if he gets a good run out of turn 1, he's 4/10 off the back of Calsper coming across the line. They're pretty much even Stevens actually as they come through turn 1 in terms of timing split, but I think Calsper just beginning to pull away on that set of hards. You can hear the gears really clonking together. Killer Blue is into the pits, interestingly, so I'm not sure what has happened there with Killer Blue. Has he got any damage?
Front left puncture.
Oh, front left puncture. And there he is coming into the pits, and that's on 24 lap Old Hards.
I mean, I've seen drivers get punctures on about 70% tyres. It can happen. You wouldn't expect it to happen too often, so very unlucky there for Killer Blue. He is able to put the soft tyres on and now just go for the fastest lap, but 11th place will be the best he is able to do. That's another thing some of these drivers have to worry about, of course, is whether their tyres will last towards the end. Out of the leaders, it's probably only Calsper and Feta Mobile that have to worry about that. Bianchi could also be in trouble on those mediums. With 2 laps to go, doesn't look like Calsper's getting any closer to Josh. Medium Pilot's definitely getting closer to the back of that Ferrari, though.
Yeah, I think the mediums, honestly, are beginning to come back into play for Josh, because he is speeding along there ahead of Calsper. He's gaining the time pretty much where he wants to gain it, but he's going to lose the time running up the hills. Now Calsper could be quite close running up the hill towards turn number 3, but I don't think he's going to be close enough for a move, and he's not. He might size it up down in towards turn 4, though. 2 more laps to go, 1.5 if you're being picky. Very much. A lot of steam coming out, a lot of smoke coming out of that Ferrari as he comes now down in towards turn 4, but Josh does lead. Calsper second, Medium Pilot in third. Top 3, as you said, I think Josh had 9 seconds worth of penalties, and Calsper and Medium Pilot were clean in terms of penalties.
Yeah, they were. I'll just give it another quick check to see if I've missed any others, but Medium Pilot looks as though he has kept it clean. Yes, Calsper with just a couple of warnings, actually, so 1 warning could make it very interesting. If I was Calsper, I'd just try and stick behind Josh at the moment, get that DRS. Josh gets himself another penalty, and because Pepta Mobile, he has 3
Oh, Josh has
lost it. Just has lost it. That allows Calsper to take the lead out on track. This could change everything, because now the Williams will have the DRS and the Ferrari won't.
Potentially the most dramatic final lap of the race has just begun. Medium Pilot right on the back of Calsper. This is for the championship. This is for the lead of the race as well. But Medium Pilot now to the outside line. Calsper to the inside line. He will try and switch it back, I think, down the inside line. But Calsper hangs tough. And Medium Pilot forced off track slightly. This is giving Josh now a run at Medium Pilot all of a sudden. Calsper could be a sitting duck running down the hill in towards turn 4. Legend has came into the pits. possibly with a puncture as well, I'm not sure, but Carlsberg leading the way. Medium Pilot though is all over the back of the Ferrari, and the Ferrari now really much under pressure. Half a lap to go, and Carlsberg is hanging on for grim life, but it can be done out on track between these two because they have no penalties. Carlsberg does lead. Medium Pilot second, Josh in third. Josh beginning to drop off. It's between these two. Ferrari against Williams. It's like the olden days of Formula 1 as they come now through turn 9 and 10 for the final time out on track. Carlsberg coming around the final corner is going to hang on for grim life. Josh has spun out the final corner. Carlsberg wins. Medium Pilot in second, and Josh has spun out the final corner. He will come across the line in third, but watch out for Papetum because I think he's going to jump up. He does. He jumps up into third. Recon could jump up as well. No, he stays fifth. Cosby right on the back of Bianchi coming across the line as well. We've got Killer Blue right on the back as well. Bianchi goes fourth ahead of Josh. Very good race from him. Killer Blue down the inside of Siege through the final two corners. Gets the move done. He's up to P9. Very dramatic end. Spreen across the line in 8th. Killer Blue across the line in 9th. Siege across the line in 10th. They swap positions. Siege up to 8th. Spreen 9th. Killer Blue in 10th. Venom. Oh, how would it have been for Venom if he didn't have that bit of contact early on. Down in 11th position. 5-second time penalty, and Legend across the line in 12th. What a dramatic final lap. Carlsberg takes the win in Austria. A phenomenal race. It wasn't it wasn't a triple win for Papetum, but your driver of the day, as voted by the in-game fans, is Siege.
I mean, yeah, he definitely worked up a long way. Josh actually saying he got a puncture on the last corner, and that is what Legend got. He was another driver to have the puncture. So just stretching them tyres a bit too far. Carlsberg, he wasn't in the dirty air of everyone. He was just able to drive his own race earlier on. I think that's what allowed him to keep his tyres in good condition. But another lap or two, Medium Pilot could have had him. It was very reminiscent almost of the Verstappen and Leclerc from 2019, with this time the Ferrari just shoving the Williams wide rather than the Ferrari being put wide. But a great job from Carlsberg there to claim the victory and claim the 30 points.
30 points going Carlsberg's way. It is only 0.2 of a second. Oh, how I would have loved to see another lap out on track between them two. Carlsberg wins from Medium Pilot in second. On penalties, Papetum in third with Bianchi in fourth, Josh in fifth, Recon in sixth. They both picked up 12 seconds worth of penalties. Carlsbury in seventh, Siege from 14th on the grid up to 8th. Good results from him with Spreen in ninth, Killer Blue in 10th. Remember, these are official, unofficial results because they will get confirmed in the next 24 hours or so. Legend across the line in 11th. Venom in 12th had 20 seconds worth of penalties, including I think a 5-second that was added on. Nathan, I think that fastest lap will be robbed of him, I'm afraid, a 101.9. There in 13th, Yoram in 14th, Darkbolt in 15th, the Keeper in 16th, and Yoram, Darkbolt and the Keeper not finishing out on track. But that is Division 1 ended for tonight. Carlsberg takes the win, Medium Pilot in second. Luke, that was fantastic.
I mean, I think we said before the stream started and at the start of the stream as well that Austria tends to give good racing. I don't think we were expecting it to be that good, or pretty much until Papetum had that slight incident with Medium Pilot. Let's not forget that could get taken to the stewards as well, because there was a lot of wheel banging going on between the two of them. There was pretty much 4 drivers in with a chance. Bianchi at one point, until his tyres went, he could have had a chance. Recon, he might be thinking what might have been if he'd just been a tiny bit more careful under the virtual safety car. But you've got to say, out of all the lead drivers, only one possibly not really to make any mistake at any point that I can think of was Carlsberg. That's why he got the victory.
Yeah, Carlsberg really drove a great race, drove it very nicely indeed. Obviously Medium Pilot as well. He had the half spin coming through the final couple of laps as well. He recovered to be really on the back of Carlsberg. Unfortunate obviously for Josh with that spin and that puncture, as you say, through the final corner on the final lap of the race. Can't think of anything more gutting than that, to be honest, for Josh. But a fantastic win from Carlsberg out on track. And if you do want to follow the league on Twitter, it is at TTML _F1. That is where you'll see the results get posted, possibly within the next 24 hours from Division 1. You can also follow myself and Luke on Twitter as well. I'm sure all of that will be in the description, but if they're not, mine is at B52head. And Luke, you are VRT _ Etheridge, I think.
VRT _ L Etheridge, and it's a good job you said that, because I was just about to say my old Twitter name, so you got it more right than I did.
Oh, I was close. I just missed it by 1 letter, so it's not too bad.
Not too bad at all.
Not too bad at all. But that is the end, of course, here tonight for Division 1. Myself and Kieran McGinley, I think, will be back in the commentary box next week. But Luke, it has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for being alongside me. An absolute legend.
Yeah, thank you. It was great to commentate alongside you for the first time, James. Hopefully, if we do get to commentate again, every race that we do is as exciting as that one, because that set the bar pretty damn high.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic, and I'm sure it will not be the last time myself and Luke are in the commentary box together. I'm sure you'll see the pairing for maybe even years to come. Who knows? But thank you so much for tuning in to TTML Division 1. Remind you of the schedule: TTML F2 tomorrow night with Aidan and Luke. That's going to be really intriguing because it is the British Grand Prix. Thursday, of course, we do Division 2 and Division 3 of TTML all around Austria, and then Division 4 and 5 around Austria as well. Just a bit of an update from my point of view as well. Ivor Bryn Mike is going to be joining me on Thursday night for Division 2 commentary, and then on Friday night is the GOAT commentary team of myself and Daniel Hoggard going to be taking you through Division 5, the lowest of the divisions, but the best commentary team you could possibly ask for. Sorry, Luke.
Yeah, there is some very good commentary teams, very good, a lot of good people involved in TTML, and if you want to look the part in TTML, let's not forget all the merchandise that we have on offer: t-shirts, hats, clothing. You can find all the information and more about that in the description. And I could probably do with getting myself some winter clothing. It's beginning to get very cold, to say we had a heat wave a few weeks ago.
I know, it is very cold, and I live up in the north of England, so I know especially what it's going to be like when it comes to winter. And I'm going to be getting myself a hoodie, definitely. It's on my Christmas list. And I've
Definitely on mine as well. PS5's at the top, obviously, but there's other stuff on there.
Exactly, yeah, but we should have the race results as well up for you on the screen right now. Carlsberg taking the win with Medium Pilot in second position. Thank you so much for watching, though, for TTML Division 1. I've been James Head.
I've been Luke Etheridge.
Take care of yourselves, and we will see you next time.
You go to war, then I'm going with you. Pick up my sword, yeah, there's nothing I won't do. When you sound the alarm and the chaos is rising, leading the charge, yeah, I'm coming, I'm fighting. Swear on the breath that I breathe, I'll never retreat, yeah, I'll be your army. If you go to war, then I'm going with you. Pick up my sword, yeah, there's nothing I won't do. When you sound the alarms and the chaos is rising, leading the charge, I'm coming.